You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become woke. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we've been accused of being woke now. I guess there's a woke right wing, and there's a lot of these tech people and these fringe right wing people that are immigrants or related to immigrants calling us out, saying we're all woke, saying we actually like DEI because we don't want our natural born citizens having to compete with the entire world for jobs. And you've got immigrants coming over on their green cards. We know Elon Musk and others, and really especially Musk, because I'm going to go through this entire thing, but the more you look at it, the H1B scam is really, really terrible, and it's worse than we all thought. And Musk is now look, Musk is maybe a different entity because his positions are so high level. Maybe you need ultra elite talent, but his point really still does not make any sense when you look at the amount of STEM majors there are in the United States. There should certainly be enough to adequately fill these positions. Then on top of that, if Musk actually has a need for ultra elite talent, there's a specific visa that doesn't have a cap on it for that. It's the O1. We've discussed this. So Musk's points really don't make any sense. And there's rumors he's got like other people controlling his X account. I think we all know that's happening, and they're just going crazy. They're rabid on there, and it's a total mess. But you can see this. The woke right is actually a thing. So we're woke now. Maybe we should join the woke left to create like a political superpower, and we could have like trans Nazis or something. I mean, think about that. What is that dynamic there? The woke right and the woke left. But no, we're apparently woke because it's not a merit-based system. We don't think our citizens should be having to compete with the rest of the world, much of which they say, oh, they work harder than Americans. Well, yeah, they're fighting for a green card. They're fighting to really be in this country. Of course, there's going to be a higher incentive, and there's more control from the employer, whether it's Tesla or whoever. So the employer is going to like the HB1 system. This was spelled out by Donald Trump during a 2016 debate where he said, I use the system because I'm a billionaire and it's a very nice system for us. We have a lot of control over the employers. He said or over the employees, excuse me. They're making significantly less money than a American would. And they work very hard because they have to, because they're potentially fighting for a green card. And even if, you've got a situation to where if you're Tesla, you've got a high turnover rate, these are only 3-year or 6-year visas to be in the United States and to work. So, yeah, this is very, very bad stuff. The more you read about it, this is from Steve Bannon saying, you're not even an American. All you are is a globalist, talking about, and this really speaks to the whole Ramaswamy Musk thing, to where there's really no culture if you do this. And it's this weird dynamic. And as I grow up, I get more and more distanced. Like, I want the United States to definitely be a huge power within the world, and we certainly are, and that's not going to go anywhere anytime soon unless we self-destruct. It's just impossible. We're such a huge entity, and we have so much influence across everywhere with how big our military is and how big our economy, the GDP is. But it's almost like you're starting to disassociate, because a lot of these people, some of them immigrants, some of them people, it's like these are center right people who are big in tech and they know a lot of immigrants, or they're immigrants. They're very gung-ho about the United States staying number one, and China is coming. And I understand that, but I'm not going to sacrifice the country's identity to stay in front of the Chinese. And I think a lot of this is fear mongering. I think we've got enough natural born, and because the other thing that Musk was saying, and a lot of this is like you're trying to see through the fog of war on whether or not this is true or not. I'm sure Musk has his reasons, and to me, it's more so looking like the elite AI talent, because that's the original crux of this debate. AI is coming. China's going to be way ahead of us if we don't bring in these immigrants, because they're more, I guess, higher level than America produces, and we've got a huge education problem. And certainly we invest a lot in education, and we don't get a good return on investment. It's just like healthcare, things need to be improved. But if you look at the AI immigrants that come in and work these American jobs, many of them are from China, not India. And in this H-1B program in specific, it's basically all Indians. If you look at the numbers, let me see if I can find the numbers. You can see this is where they're talking about, oh, there's a fix now. Musk was never saying this before. He said he supported the system. He said he would fight to the death to defend the immigrants because he came over on an H-1B. Now he has to change course because he sees the fraud in it. At least Ramaswamy, before the election at a town hall, admitted, yeah, the H-1B system is a total mess. The problem is, It's just Ramaswamy doesn't want to eliminate it. He just wants to get rid of the lottery within it. That's the thing, because there is a lottery and he wants it to be more merit based. And then you look at the way the green cards are allocated. They also want that changed because right now there's a 7% cap per country, and they want more Indians to be able to come into the country because there's just more Indians than, I mean, you look at the birth rates, they're number one. So just got a DM from someone who works in recruiting at one of big tech companies. He said it's an internal policy within the team he works for to reserve roles for what they call outside talent. They are not allowed to recruit Americans for these roles, but must go through the motions of setting up interviews with Americans. He said he and his colleagues try to keep these calls short, normally 10 to 15 minutes, and just ghost them completely. So, and he also said that the talent shortage narrative is false. They get an overwhelming amount of qualified American candidates. They just are not allowed to hire them. And so, you know, this is just one example, but we're seeing more and more of this stuff. And you look at the STEM graduates, and compared to the amount of roles that need to be filled here in the United States, it definitely seems like there's a number of huge issues with the H-1B. And now you're getting some of the tech people say, well, yes, there's a big issue. It needs to be reformed, but, you know, we need to keep these people, and bring in more Indians. Well, that was not the tone that you guys were saying at the start. Remember, Ramaswamy put out that tweet basically criticizing American culture, saying that American culture needs to be more like Asia in the way they take their studies and how serious they take them. And listen, I understand the Asians do better in mathematics and stuff, but the general sentiment that we need to change our culture over this, when you start looking at the data and the DEI that goes on in the United States, if white people were not up to standard, why is there this significant amount of discrimination against them in terms of meeting quotas on certain roles and not allowing, I mean, if you take a look at the new hires inside of the top 100 companies in the SPX, you're looking at around the last 4 years, it's been like 6% white. And so we're really not seeing this shortage. And even if there is a shortage, the antidote for that is not migration. And so that's something, or at least in my opinion, that's something that there's going to be a disagreement with me and Musk, who is an immigrant, who really doesn't care. He just wants his companies run as seamlessly as possible. And obviously there is an advantage to bringing these people in. You have total control over their lives. They're going to work very long hours. And that's another big thing. And another thing I want to touch on is kind of this, well, here you can see the origin of countries for the H-1B visa recipients. In 2020, it's really not even close. 75% come from India. I did see someone say, well, that's because of like another system. I believe this is mainly because of how, you know, big India is in terms of the amount of births they have every year. There's just, the population is so huge. You've got this 6% whites in terms of change in employment since February of 2020, white people losing jobs since 2020. And this is more of just a widespread, bigger thing rather than just an H-1B issue, but it just goes to show you the idea that what they're saying is, oh, they need workers. And, you know, I'm starting to really not believe that, because originally it was this thing about, well, there's just not enough talent in the United States. And then you look at some of the graphs, and most of the AI talent actually comes from China, not India. So what are these people coming in for? Well, I would say they're mainly coming in for like grunt coding work, or like entry-level engineers that they know are going to work really hard, and they can get them for cheaper than Americans that have graduated and have impressive degrees. That would be my guess. And then it also comes down to them not demanding as many benefits. The fact that they're only here for 3 or 6 years. If you want to get it extended, you have to really impress your employer. So there's also that hanging over their head. There's just such a, you know, amazing amount of leverage over the employee if you are an employer via these H-1B visas. Trump spelled it out back in 2016. He admitted, he said, this is what it is. You just take a look at the dynamic between the two, hiring an American citizen that just graduated, maybe has a very impressive degree, versus someone coming overseas that, you know, maybe your company already has a high turnover rate. They're only going to be here for 3 years, and then maybe it's a 6-year visa, you extend it, and then you can decide if you want to keep that person. You have total control of the situation, as opposed to hiring someone that, you know, comes from the United States internally. And then you've got the take on the idea that Americans are lazy. And so you can see we aren't lazy. We are hard workers. That is true. Americans are hard workers. Don't replace us with someone else. Working 80 hours a week is way too much. Absolutely it is. We're a first world country. We're the most rich country in the world. The answer to that is, oh, but other people work 80 hours a week. Well, that's not an American standard. If we force our citizens to work 80 hours a week, what kind of standard living is that? Are you kidding me? The idea that we would force our own citizens through outsourcing labor to work longer, harder hours, to be away from their families, and then use that as some type of moral standard, like, oh, you don't work hard enough. That is a horrible, horrible, horrible way to think about your country and the people within your country. You should be trying to improve their standard of living, not make it harder and say you're lazy because you're not working 80 hours like someone who's fighting for a green card that just came over here that the employer has so much leverage over. It's a totally different situation. This is a horrible take, and I've seen this by a number of people who are just these, and this is another thing, it's a more widespread thing with Elon Musk. Musk controls the full narrative on X. He owns the platform, and so now we see when we disagree with Musk on something, the annoyance that it really is, because there are so many people that are Elon simps that, you know, they this is their job to tweet on here, to, I mean, they're the reason they make money is because of Elon, and so they're going to stick up for Elon no matter what. There's so many of these Tesla people who aren't even Americans chiming in saying Elon's right, he's retweeting it. These aren't even people in the United States. It's crazy. And with Musk controlling the narrative like he is, it's very concerning. It really is. And some of the people that Musk is like friends with, and you see some of these spaces, I understand you guys, you know, a lot of people still like Musk within the Republican Party. He's done a lot of good things. I don't know, man. I mean, Musk is, he acts like a child. We'll leave it at that with Musk. But it's not good. This week has proved that some people just want handouts and an unfair advantage, also known as DEI. What is the point of having a country if we're just, you know what? This is what we should do. There are so many, I'm sure there's so many American citizens that possibly could be replaced by foreigners. Why don't we just have a recruitment center we set up, and we just go out and we replace all the Americans with people? Because we could raise our GDP by another 3%. I mean, oh my God, these people are so obsessed with GDP. They don't care about the country makeup. They don't care about the culture of America. I mean, and we've already lost so much. And that's why this issue hits to a lot of our hearts, and you just get called dumb and racist. And just look at the country's makeup in terms of demographics over the last 50 years and what's happened. But we can't say anything, because if we say anything, it's automatically racist. And then it's like, oh my God, if you're not working 80 hours, you're so lazy. You are so lazy. What is the point of having a country if we do not put our own citizens first, and you side with a billionaire who just wants to hire cheaper labor that he can exploit? And that's what he's doing with these immigrants. And so this is such an elitist take. Years ago, I worked 16-hour days, and you know where that got me? It got me let go so they could replace me with someone. But it doesn't even matter if you get replaced. This is not something that should not be happening. We should not be forcing our people to work 16 hours a day as the most rich country in the world because some immigrant might take your job. What are we doing? And then we're going to side with the billionaires who want to hire these people for cheap? This is just ridiculous. It's terrible. It's just a terrible president. I'm surrounded by racist, fascist, racists everywhere, having racist sleepovers. Woke light. I want to see American families succeed. No. You want to see American families succeed, but oh my God, our GDP might go down by 0.1%. Oh my God. Our GDP is going to go down by 0.1%, guys, if we don't bring in all these immigrants. Oh, no, we have to bring them all in. We have to. Let's destroy our entire country, but our GDP is going to go up if we bring these people in. But guys, Elon Musk's net worth might go down by $1 billion if we don't bring these people in. We have to keep we've got to get him to be a trillionaire, guys. It's so important. Oh my God. It's so important. Community Notes just ended this guy. Oh my God. Patrick PBD. What's with him having to he puts like an entire row of space in between every sentence, and it always annoys me. It's like he's trying to be more impactful or insightful by the style in which he tweets. As an immigrant from Iran, I said, well, I already read this, talking about working 80 hours a week, not minding it. And then there was a community note on it talking about a predatory multi-level marketing pyramid scheme. And Bet David is trying to act like he did some crazy noble thing and that he was driven, because that's these people say like, oh, I'm a millionaire, billionaire because I was driven. And some people have what it takes and other people don't. And you look at the way he made his money, very, very shady. And also Ramaswamy as well. You look into stuff Ramaswamy with his stock looks like a meme coin, honestly. And he changed the name of it, by the way. And then you've also got, oh yeah, this is Jordan Peterson's daughter. Let's just ignore this and let China win the woke right. Oh my God, China's gonna win. Oh my goodness, we got to bring in 40 million more. China's gonna win, guys. Oh god, China's gonna beat us. How many is China bringing in? I think most of our AI talent comes from China from the graph that I saw. But I mean, China's gonna win. By the way, I think these numbers are wrong as well. The STEM graduates per year are wrong. That was already proven. Um, yeah. So this is just, oh, what is this, Constantine? This Constantine. Look at this image. Who takes a photo like this though? The woke right. You go woke. You go woke. You go broke. And then people are starting to realize that Elon has people running his Twitter, his X account, and this is a main strategy. Obviously, Musk is not tweeting 4,000 times a day, but Musk knows he gets the most interactions out of anyone, and he owns the platform, so he wants to drive up interactions on the platform. So he has someone tweet, making tweets bigger by putting comments underneath tweets to drive up interactions, and that's why Musk is basically tweeting every single hour. And so it's totally disingenuous, but you really don't know when Musk is tweeting because it's many of the times it's someone that he hires to do it for him to try and drive up the engagement because he knows his account is the most followed on X and he wants to make the engagement look bigger on the platform. And so he also does that as well. But that's the current situation, guys. That is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.